Alright, y'all, welcome back to part 3 of me breaking down the Hunger Games book plot and hopefully convincing you to read the book and watch the movies. So when we last left off, District 12 had for the first time a volunteer to replace someone chosen in the reaping ceremony. Katniss bravely steps in for her sister. Right now I'm rereading the book, and something that I thought was interesting was Effie, when she's announcing this, she's like, well, there's certain protocols we have to follow. And the mayor says, what does it matter? Which in the world of the Hunger Games, like disagreeing with any government official is like wild. And Katniss has this beautiful internal monologue moment where she says, perhaps there was a flicker of recognition in his eyes. Perhaps he saw in me the girl that was friends with his daughter, the girl that would bring strawberries. It's this really beautiful passing moment, but I felt like it was poignant and represented very beginning a district ready to resist the oppressive regime of the capital. So after the names are drawn and the tributes are chosen, they're given a brief amount of time in the Justice Building to say goodbye to their friends and family. Now, this immediately worries Katniss because after their father died, her mother sunk into a kind of catatonic state of depression. And Katniss is really young in the first book, so you can like totally forgive her for not being understanding of mental health. And as the books go on, she becomes much more understanding of just how like hard and awful that must have been. But still in this moment, she's very tough on her mother, and she's like, you can't disappear like last time. Because essentially Katniss had to become the mother of the family and take over everything from feeding them to making sure that the household ran smoothly. One of the things that I love is that throughout the series, we see Katniss's mother returning back to her roots. So she comes from one of the more wealthy merchant class families, which is really interesting because it shows that even within this oppressed district, there is still like wealth inequity. So originally she came from one of these wealthy merchant class families, and she was what's called an apothecary. Apothecaries are basically like medicine people. They can treat wounds, they can dispense herbs, basically like a general medicine doctor. And she's not originally from the Seam, but she fell in love with Katniss's father and decided to move there out of love, lowering her economic station like wildly because the Seam is like way poorer than the part of District 12 that she's from. And since her father was the primary breadwinner, and then obviously she like loved him, so like after he passed away, she's like completely overcome with grief, and it sends the family even to like further poverty because there's like no source of income, and the matriarch of the family like is just super depressed. Very rightfully so. Like I feel like very defensive of Katniss's mother. Even though it's unfair that Katniss was put in that position, it's also unfair that her mom was too. So there's this really cool breakdown of this on Lit Charts. It talks about how Katniss's father would sometimes bring herbs. We talk about this in the book as well. But this is how they met, and I just can really imagine like a very cute meet cute for like origin story of their love. One of the things that it points out that I think is so fascinating is that even within District 12, like the class system is very unequal. Okay, I like ran out of time. I didn't get to all the stuff that I wanted to talk about. So follow me into part 4 where we're going to talk about where Katniss got the Mockingjay pin and so much more.